Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been a long wait since the last time we played. We played against Newcastle. It's a bad feeling since we went into this long break after losing a game that we should have won, a game that left the bad taste in the mouth after losing to against 10 man. And it's one of the things that showed the problems that are still existing in this team. So as we go into this Villa game, there's some things that you need to understand. Can these players bounce back? This is the first time Michael Carrick has also lost his first game as interim manager on both stints. The first time he played 3 games, he didn't lose a single game. This time he had played around 8 games, he did not lost a single one. So it's a case where you also have to learn about the manager. Can they bounce back? Will they show another level of performance? The last games leading up to this Aston Villa game showed that the performance was not good enough, especially in the intensity in games. The game against West Ham, then Everton, then Crystal Palace and Newcastle, and eventually you saw what happened because when you don't have enough good enough performances, it will catch up with you, and it caught up with us against Newcastle. So the manager has already had team news. One of the things that he spoke about when asked about the availability, he said Mount has trained this week. We also saw pictures of Dogu, Delete, and Lisandro going into training. But Mount is the one who was trained well. He's not 100% fit, but he should be available for this Sunday game. We'll see how he'll be used in that game. Michael Carrick is not sure if he'll be used, but having such a player, even though he's not 100% for around 10 minutes coming on, instead of the likes of Malasia Ugarte who came on in the last game, and you realize how the game went after that. So Mount trained this week, Lisandro Delete and Dogu. They also trained some individual training, some in gas training, but they are not ready yet. This game comes too soon for them. If you look at this game, it's between the team in third and the team in fourth. Man United, the last time in January when we played Aston Villa, I think they opened up a 10 or 11 point gap on us, and since then we have clawed up the points until we are now ahead of them. We are now ahead of them on goal difference. As you can see here, we are on goal difference of 11 while they are on goal difference of 5. And this is a very crucial game because if we win this game, there's a very high chance that we can be able to take it to the end of the season. Villa are playing too many games. Their squad is decimated. If you look at the recent performances that they have had, they are struggling because the whole season they have had to play in Europe, and this is not something they are used to consistently. And it's starting to show in the way the players are tired. Some of them are getting muscle injuries, and this presents a case where the game, if he played with good enough intensity, then we should trouble Villa. Having played on Thursday, they played their Europa League on Thursday, and I don't think they are in that good of a shape towards the later stages of the game. Looking at the team form, as we were speaking about Man United lost their just recent game. They lost against 10 man Newcastle, but before then, we had a good record. We had beaten Crystal Palace, we had beaten Everton, we had drawn with West Ham, and beaten Tottenham. So we were doing very well under Michael Carrick until the last game, and it was just a lapse in concentration towards the last minute. You make so many changes, and those changes come to bite you. And this is something that Michael Carrick would have learned. This is something that if you looked at his walkout in the last game, he wasn't even greeting any of the players. He was angry, as the fans also were angry, because losing against 10 man and missing out on a very good opportunity to steal a gap on your other rivals was something that was just inexplicable. If you look at the form of Villa in the Premier League, as you can see, the last game they played Lille in the Europa League, but in the Premier League, they have lost 3 games and drawn one of their last 4 Premier League games. So they are teams that are not in form. And if you look at all these 5 games, one thing you realize is that in 5 games they have scored four goals. So they are not scoring as many goals as they should. In fact, it's less than a goal per game. So it shows that they are a team that is not confident going forward. And if they are not confident going forward, then the team can play well enough, get a clean sheet. And if you look at Man United has been scoring very many goals, and that's one of our strengths, the attack. So if you can score 1 or 2 goals, I'm not sure Villa will be able to get them back. So this is a case where the defensive solidity will be a critical part. Just make sure we shut them out, and if we shut them out, then going forward we can be able to score the goals that we need and win this game. In terms of the head-to-head, the last game that we played against Aston Villa, they won 2-1. It was a strange game because we outplayed them in every aspect of the game, but made 2 errors towards the end, where Morgan Rogers cut in very easily and scored. two goals. They were very similar goals. Euro was not close enough to the to Morgan Rogers, and Morgan Rogers was able to just place the ball wherever he wanted. So that is something that needs to be rectified. Something with Villa is that they are outperforming their XG. They are outperforming the XG by around 10 positions. If you look at Villa in terms of their performances and the XG, they should be 14th position in the league, but they are now fourth, which means they are outperforming their XG by around 10 positions. One of those things you realize even in their run when they went, I think, 11 game winning run, you could tell they were not playing well enough, but somehow out of luck or just moment of brilliance, they kept winning the games. But that luck has now deserted them. In the last games, you can tell they are not that good, especially in the Premier League. They have lost many games recently, and they are just tiring at the worst possible time of the season. So this is an important game because I feel if we can win this game, I don't think Villa can be able to catch up with us again. And since the top five will probably be able to make it in the Premier League, that can be as good as guaranteeing us a Champions League position. If you look at last season, we played two games. We drew at Aston Villa and beat them home. This was the last game of the season, the game where Emi Martinez was red carded, and we played a very good game, especially considering we had not played that well leading up to the game. In the season before that, we beat Aston Villa home and away, and in the other season we also beat them. So it's a team that we tend to do well against. It doesn't matter our form, we usually turn up against Villa, and if you look at all these fixtures, except for this game where they beat us 2-1, we have had a good record going back. All the other games that we have played except one, we have drawn. So it's a game I think I have confidence in. This is the lineup I think that should start. Lamens should start in goal. Lamens have been playing very well. That is the keeper should continue. In the centre back partnership, Yoro and Maguire should continue. They have formed a partnership in the absence of Lisandro Martinez. They have been able to cover him, so they should continue as the centre backs. Luke Shaw, I think he's fit. He had a scare in the previous game, but he came back in the game against Newcastle and played the game for around 70 minutes, so he should start this game. Mazraoui was preferred in the game against Newcastle. I think this is another game he should continue. He's better than Dalot. Amayo and Casemiro, we don't have many options. Those are the two options that you'd expect would start in midfield. They have started most of our games since Carrick came on, and I think they should continue. And you saw what happened when we substituted them with the likes of Ugarte, and we lost control of that game completely. Bruno should continue in the 10. Bruno has had a very good season. Recently he's created 22 chances per game. So he's not per game. I think he's created 22 chances in the last game since he came back, and he's creating more chances every game. In fact, if you look at the whole season, he's created around 83 chances against the second place person has created around 61 chances. So he's creating so many chances. He continues as our 10. Cunha with the left wing. Cunha has now been playing very well. He's not been scoring some games, but he's still impacting games, and he should continue as the left wing. The right wing is where we'll have some changes. I think if you look at that game against Newcastle, like it's always good to make a change when the forward line was not playing well enough. I think it's time for a change. And if you look at the last 2-3 games, Mbeumo has not been on his top form, and I think this is a game where he also needs to start from the bench. This front line has been rotated. You could tell Michael Carrick started the game without Cunha. Cunha was a super sub. Then Sesko was substituted. He came on as a super sub until he earned his position. And I think it's time for Ahmad also to start this game, and Mbeumo to also come on from the bench, because you have to keep standards up. And one of the things that you have to keep standards up, when players are not playing well enough, then they have to be benched. And I think this is the game to do so. It's not a doubt on Mbeumo. It's just the fact that he's not at his best right now. So I think I'd start Ahmad in this game and then Sesko up front. This can give us a new way to play this game, and towards the end of the game, then you can bring on Mbeumo. Maybe at the 60th minute, he can come with that fire trying to prove himself. Because if you look at the game first where Ahmad was substituted, I think it was the game against Crystal Palace. He didn't start that game, but he came on within 20 minutes and he had, I think, 3 chances created, a very good shot on target that was parried away by Jordan Henderson. By Henderson, you look at some of those shots that he took in that game. Within a 20-minute period, he showed that he wanted to prove that he is better, and I think he should be starting this game. So that is it for that preview. I think we have spoken most of the things that you expect. Aston Villa are doing well in Europe, but they are not doing equally as well in the Premier League. In fact, in Europe, they have won the last 6 games. This is their strongest run in a European competition, winning 6 games on the bounce. But when it comes to the Premier League, they are not doing well enough. You look at the game against Chelsea recently, where they lost 4-1. They could have lost by many goals that game. So I think this game is about the players not being complacent, because unfortunately the last few games you could tell they were not putting in the effort they should. But this is a game they can win. Okay, obviously, one of the developments is that McGinn is back. McGinn was out with an injury, but he came back in the game against Lille, and I think he should be ready to play a part in this game. Yuri Telemans and Bobaka Kamara are not available, so their midfield was shaky. It was looking really bad, and that was one of the reasons they were losing. They didn't have McGinn, they didn't have Bobaka Kamara, they didn't have Telemans. But now McGinn is back, so this makes strengthen their midfield a bit. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't win. We still have a better team, a team that can be able to get a win out of this. And if we can play with the right intensity, eventually I think they will tire up. And once they tire up, then we can score the goals we need. Winning this game is so crucial, because if we don't win this game, then I think Liverpool can catch up to us. Chelsea can also do the same. And if you will start faltering at this point of the season, then you can miss out on a very important Champions League qualification. So let's see how this game goes. Hopefully it goes our way. We don't have to discuss a game where we won the losing end. We can't be losing two back-to-back games, especially when we're fighting for Europe. So like, comment, subscribe, share your views in the comment section. What do you think about this game? What do you think will happen in this game? I think it will be a 3-1. I'm predicting a 3-1 win for Man United. Give you also your predictions, and let's continue waiting for the game, and hopefully we can have a good time. So see you in the next one. Thank you.